Coming up on Mountain News this morning, we'll take a look at some of the damage across the Commonwealth left from the long weekend storms.
Dedicated to eastern and southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning, I'm Madison Carmouche. Today is May 28th, hard to believe already. We're at 5:31 this morning. Let's send it over to meteorologist Tim Drawbridge for a look at your forecast.
I'm right there with you, Madison. Where has the month gone? But I think we also said that about April and March too, right? 57 degrees, and it is pea soup thickness outside our door here at WYMT, and some of our visibilities across southern Kentucky are equal to that. Notice that, yes, again, officially says 10-mile visibility and hazard, but we know it's less. Extra time back into work and school mode, especially after the long holiday weekend, and I'm sure after a number of you clearly dealing with the severe weather from back on Sunday and not getting much sleep with the cleanup. Mid upper 50s and lower 60s across the Commonwealth early this morning. The flow coming from the northwest. It's a cool flow, and yes, indeed, it's clear to partly cloudy across the region right now. We'll see a blend of clouds and sunshine as we head through the afternoon. The risk, slightest chance of a shower popping up, maybe a thunder shower and a high today, and hazard in between hours to 77. More about the First Alert 7-day forecast, that cool theme, all coming up in a few moments. Madison?
All right, Tim, thank you. A North Carolina man is facing charges after police say he reportedly took a car from a dealership in Corbin. Knox County Sheriff's deputies received a call just after 11:30 on Sunday night about the incident. After arriving at the dealership, police discovered the front entry door had been shattered. Police later found Courtney Lowry in a vacant field near the dealership. Lowry was taken to the Knox County Detention Center. A man is facing charges after police say he shot and killed his uncle and father in Pulaski County. Deputies were called to Sandage Spur in Eubank Saturday evening. Sheriff Bobby Jones says Dennis Mullins and his brother Anthony Mullins were found dead. UK police arrested Brandon Mullins. He's charged with 2 counts of murder. Crews in Whitesburg were called out to a fire on Monday a little after 2 p.m. Officials with the Whitesburg Fire Department posted on social media they were called out to the Little Caesars at the Whitesburg Plaza. Officials say once crews entered the building, they were able to put out the fire. And officials also say the Little Caesars is expected to be closed until further notice. Yesterday, Andy Beshear hosted a news conference following the latest round of severe weather that happened during the weekend. Sunday night, Governor Beshear declared a state of emergency for the entire state and implemented the state's price gouging laws. There were 14 counties that declared a state of emergency, including 2 in our area, Clay and Knox. Here's some of what the governor had to say.
We did have a tree fall on a little girl who was riding her bike, and miraculously she is okay, even though the bike was damaged. There's a bit of a hand of God in that story.
Governor Beshear spent yesterday afternoon touring the western part of the state following the damage that was left behind by the storms. In Louisville, a man died Sunday after he reportedly was hit by a tree during the severe weather. Louisville Metro Police responded to the incident at approximately 12:30 p.m. That man was reportedly hit by a tree and was found, and then before first responders were able to get him to a hospital, he died. Governor Andy Beshear confirmed yesterday that at least 5 people have died from the storms that happened over the weekend. None of those were from our coverage area. Yesterday, officials with the National Weather Service in Jackson made the trip to the Cumberland Valley to look at the damages left by Sunday's severe weather. The storm survey is a way for the Weather Service personnel to get a better understanding of the storm and to see how their warnings played out. Whitley County Emergency Management Director Jerry Rain says the damages they've seen left from the severe weather is similar to the damages left from storms back in April.
From what I've seen today, this seems to be following along the same path of the April 2nd storm. which is kind of unusual for this part of Kentucky. We normally don't see storms that come back to back along the same area, but we're seeing a lot of damage in the same areas that was in April.
Whitley County residents impacted by the severe weather are encouraged to reach out to the judge's office in order for their damages to be surveyed. Folks in Leslie County are no different than the many people working to clean up debris after the weekend storms. On Owl's Nest Road, the damage may look bad, but there were no lives lost. Neighbors were helping each other as the high winds left down trees and power lines both on and around homes. Magistrate John Newell says he hopes to be able to get people some help soon.
It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking because a lot of these people I've known for many years and good friends. And what I'm doing here today is not part of it. Yes, it's my job as a magistrate, but I want to be here as a friend.
Newell says the governor's declaration of a state of emergency will help him to get funding to families in need. A southern Kentucky Lake Cumberland marina was heavily damaged by the severe weather over the weekend. Boats, docks, and the campground at Conley Bottom Marina in Wayne County were heavily damaged from the early morning severe weather. It comes almost exactly 5 years after the marina experienced a devastating fire. WYMT's Phil Pendleton spoke to people who rode out the storm and now have a lot of cleaning up to do.
Moments before a tree crushed the back of this trailer where a couple was sitting.
When they got up to go grab a couple beers, and about the time they got to the door, the tree fell right where they had just been sitting.
They escaped unharmed, along with many others staying at the crowded campground and boat docks packed for the busy kickoff to summer.
Well, everybody here is pretty blessed. I mean, the campers, obviously the boats are replaceable, but nobody got killed, and that's the main thing.
There were a lot of people down here, but thankfully no one was hurt last night, and that's what matters most.
This marina has experienced a lot in the last 5 years. There was a flood at this campground. There was wind damage on the marina, and then almost exactly 5 years ago, right before Memorial Day weekend, there was a devastating fire here. It took several years to recover from that fire with a new ship store and restaurant built. Part of the new additions were damaged again.
We have experienced a lot. It gets to a point sometimes where you wonder how much more you can take, but we know that God has a plan, and we'll just be here every day working as hard as we can work and getting everything put back together and take it day by day.
Along with the damage in and around the marina, there was also major damage at a nearby boat storage facility. In Wayne County, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
It is not clear if the damage was caused by a tornado or just strong winds. We have asked you to submit your videos and photos to our website, WYMT.com, in the midst of the severe weather that occurred yesterday. Here is a photo we received from a viewer in Bell County. This was at the scene of someone's home in Middlesboro on Sunday. Here's a video that a viewer sent to us of storm damage. This was taken on Cow Fork Road in the Beverly community of Bell County. Multiple trees were taken down by the storms. Just some incredible footage of the destruction caused by Mother Nature. Trees ripped from the ground, houses torn from their foundations, scenes of devastation linger in Hopkins County. For many, this isn't their first encounter with severe weather. The tornado that struck in December 2021 in Dawson Springs caused widespread damage to their community. In the years since, they have been recovering until another disaster hit Sunday night. Thousands remain without power and are uncertain when it will be restored.
This is my childhood home, and I felt like the tornado was so evil.
To think that it will happen to you, you don't, and when it does, you just have to sit and wonder and think, where do you go from here?
The mayor of Dawson Springs encourages her community to conserve as much water as possible. Still to come, the summer is starting, but the beaches are in dire need of lifeguards.
Waking up this morning to some fog issues again across eastern and southern Kentucky. The big question is, can we get to the sun? Can we keep it quiet? Gonna like the way the theme is for the week? Details with your first alert 7-day forecast coming up right after this.